Well, Mel, the holidays are coming up, and you know how widows feel about holidays.
Sure do. And so, guess what we have for all of you?
Tell us.
We have an online pre holiday widow hangout.
Yes! This is going to be so much fun.
When is it?
That's a really good question, Mel. I actually don't know when it is. I'm going to look at our calendar real quick.
I know when it is.
Okay, good.
Okay, it's Friday, November 21st, 7 p.m. Mountain Time.
Excellent.
Whatever that is for you. For Pacific Time, that's 6 p.m. For Central Time, 8. Eastern Time, 9. Anywhere outside of that, we can't help you. The internet can help you.
So if you want to attend, what you're going to do is there is an event that has been created in the Widow Wives Club. You have to submit your information to us, and then we will email the link out to you on the day of the event. So go find that in the Widow Wives Club. That means if you're not in the Widow Wives Club, you should join the Widow Wives Club if you want to come to our cocktail hour.
Yeah, we're excited to do this because it's been a minute. So we're really looking forward to see a lot of faces that we know and some that we don't know yet. I know that we've already had a bunch of people RSVP.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, me too.
Excellent. And you just are going to bring whatever drink you want to, and we'll just spend a little bit of time, talk about how we're feeling about the holidays, and be able just to spend some time with people who get it, because the holidays can be hard and we're heading into that hard season.
Yeah, and if you are not a social person like me, you can still come and you can just sit there, drink your drink, be in your pajamas. You can keep your screen off if you want, but just come and join us.
Yep. Okay, so that was, again, November 21st, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, whatever that is for you. And we'll see you there. Make sure you fill out the form so you can get the Zoom link.
We'll see you then. Ho, ho, ho.
Green Giant. I think that was the wrong vibe. Well, for once, it was not me who had the problem with the child and the bleeding body part. So
I mean, I didn't even think twice, except for it was just another person that had the same kinds of situations. You guys want to tell what happened since everyone listening's confused?
We were just about to start, and a child walked in with a bleeding head, but it wasn't my child. Who are you, friend? Tell us your name.
Hi, I'm Amber Slaughter, and I have a bleeding child.
And that's kind of a perfect last name for the bloody head.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we took care of the child. Is taken care of.
Yes.
He is in no immediate harm or danger.
Dr. Wound Care Anita examined over the internet.
She triaged the situation.
Yes, he won't bleed out, but before we start, definitely not. Amber.
Yes.
Besides a bleeding-headed child, tell us a little bit more about you. Where do you live?
I live in Indianapolis.
Today, I feel like, is a really appropriate day for us to be recording. True or false?
True.
Okay. And for those who are not here with us while we're recording, we are recording on Veterans Day. So that's, I think, going to be part of your story today, and we'll get into that a little bit, right?
Yep.
Okay.
We'll talk about that soon.
Okay, tell us a little bit more about you besides where you live. Like, what do you like to do? Do you have a job? What's your sign?
And what are your favorite outdoor activities or indoor activities?
Okay.
It's a lot.
I'm an Aries. My favorite outdoor activity would be running, even though that really doesn't happen anymore in my life. But I wish it did. My favorite indoor activity, honestly, would probably just be binge watching TV, like finding a good show. And
yeah, like any normal human.
You're from Indiana. Do you watch Parks and Rec?
Of course. Well, I mean, I watched it years ago, but maybe that would be a good repeat. I should rewatch that one.
I feel like there are times in my life, especially when I'm really not doing as well emotionally, and I can't watch anything other than comedy. And that's one of my go-tos, that 30 Rock. So,
but my husband and I used to watch 30 Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Watch Parks and Rec together too. I feel like anything that we had been watching together at the time, like I never finished. I could not pick back up. That was too exciting. But stuff like we watched years ago, I could do a rewatch on that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Stranger Things for me. That's what I was watching while I found out Scott died. And I never finished it. Ever.
No, I've never gone. I was watching like Abbott Elementary and some other shows. I can't though. Now I can't. I can't finish it. Those are just
so rude that they ruined those shows
Damn it,
for you.
Matt.
All of your shows that are do not watch shows are the ones that help me feel better. I'm so sorry. Those are good ones.
It was Marvelous Mrs. Maisel for me.
I
Oh.
love that one. I love it.
That's what I was watching when the police knocked on my door. So
Oh gosh.
never
Oh,
again.
gosh.
Guys,
I'm
hey,
so
can I just
sorry.
say we all have good taste in TV?
We do.
We're
We do.
traumatized from some of
Yeah.
it now, but
Yeah.
whatever.
So that's my sign, my indoor and outdoor activities. And as far as what do I do for a living, I own a company that helps folks transition to senior care. So whether that's in-home care, assisted living, memory care, most of my clients are in the hospital and are not safe to return home. So then we help them with navigating next steps.
So are you a nurse or a social worker or like how did you get into that? That's very specific.
Yeah, it really is. So my background was in marketing, and then in 2011, I started in a marketing role in senior care and an assisted living and memory care, and I did that for a handful of years. And then I was a director of operations for an in-home care agency. And then while I was there, I got my master's degree in healthcare management. And then during the pandemic, I left there. Um, and I didn't know what I wanted to do next. I thought about maybe being a director of a facility.
But not during the pandemic. That would have been the worst idea
I was
ever.
like, nope, not right now. And then I thought, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to start my own thing. I've been running somebody else's franchise. The in-home care facility was a franchise. I was like, why am I not just doing my own thing? So that's when I found my company. It's a franchise. And so then I purchased that, and I've been doing that for 5 years. And I've helped, I don't know, hundreds of families with just navigating that because
Which
families
is
don't know what they
it's
need.
terrible.
It's
It's
so hard.
suffocating.
And they
Yes.
don't know, what level of care is the appropriate level of care, what
How are we going to pay for
all the
it?
things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Well,
that's where
that's
we
really
come in.
cool, Amber,
Thanks.
and unique. Okay.
Thanks.
Do you want to tell us about your person?
My person is Matt. Um, Mr. Matt, my husband. We were together for 17 years. So we met, we kind of just randomly met. We were introduced by people. I lived in Florida at the time. He lived in Indiana, and I was in Indiana for one night only.
One night only. One night
Only.
I didn't know I was going to get a performance. Yay. I was in town and visiting my friend, and then I was going to go to Cincinnati next and visit my sister. So I was kind of doing a little Midwest tour. And so while I was in town visiting my friend, she was like, "Oh my gosh, you need to meet my boyfriend's best friend. You would love him." And so she, texted her boyfriend and his friend and was like, "You guys, should come over and hang out. Let's get dinner, whatever." And so I met him. I guess little backup side story. I had been going through a divorce for like 2 years. It took forever. I was married right out of college to my college sweetheart. It was not my best decision. Um, it was an unhealthy environment. I realized that very quickly. And got divorced, but my divorce took forever, like 2 years. So finally, it was time to finalize it. So I had to fly back to the Midwest to finalize my divorce. Went to court that day. I was in town again, like I said, for one day.
Wait, you
Yes.
met him on divorce paper signing day?
Yes, and get this, get this. So I had a beer. I had a beer with my friends, when we were hanging out, and he looked at me, and I guess I don't look like a beer drinking kind of girl. I think I look more like a wine drinking girl, which I am. And he said, "Oh, you drink beer, huh?" Like that surprised me or something like that. And I said, "Well, no, not normally." And he said, "Oh, what's the occasion?" And I said, "Well, I got divorced today." And he said, "No way. I did that this week too."
What?
I know. I
Jinx
know.
smell.
Yes. So
Okay.
I was like, really? I mean, I had been living in a different state for 2 years. It just took forever to finalize. Um, and he had been separated for quite some time too, and his had finalized that week as well. So, yeah, so we hit it off, and then, I was supposed to leave the next day, but I don't know, I kind of liked him, and I was like, you know what? I've got more PTO hours. So I called my boss and I was like, nope, I'm not going to come back for a few more days. And then I called the airport and I changed my flight and I decided to stay in Indiana a little longer, so I could get to know him a little bit more. And hang out for a few more days. So, yeah, I got to hang out with my friend for a few more days. I got to see my sister in Cincinnati, and then I got to, get to know Matt a little bit more too. And that was that. And so then we dated long distance. I did eventually have to go back to Florida and
Yeah,
go back to
dang
work.
it.
So we dated long distance for 8 months. And then we're like, okay, you can't date long distance forever. So, I had to move here to Indiana. He has children from his first marriage, so he couldn't move to Florida. And I'm originally from here anyway. This is where I grew up. I went to high school here. I went to college in Indiana. So I moved back, and that was that. Few years later, I don't know, we built a house, we got married, we eventually had a baby. Took us a long time to have a baby. Years actually. We were starting the adoption process when I finally found out I was pregnant.
That's always like the way, I feel like.
I think that's just what you have to do.
Yeah, it's
Oh, I
like the
guess you have to
signal to
start
the
the adoption.
universe. These guys are serious. They're going to make it happen. Question. The broken head kid,
Yeah,
who,
that's
who's
him.
that's the baby?
That's the baby.
And he's
Yes.
not such a baby anymore.
He is not. So that was 10 years ago. So we found out we were pregnant in 2014, fall of 2014. At that same exact time, Matt found a lump on his jaw.
No.
Yeah. And he had just had a root canal. So his dentist was like, "Oh, it's probably like just a lymph node swollen, maybe a little infection, root canal, no big deal, but why don't you see your PCP?" So he went to his regular doctor. His doctor said the same thing. "I'm going to give you an antibiotic. It's probably this, but I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't send you to an ENT." So then we go to an ENT.
I
And
love it.
anybody who has dealt with some sort of a disease knows these things take weeks to kind of slowly unfold, because it's like, oh, go see your regular doctor. Okay, well, that's 2 weeks later before you can get in.
Mhm.
Now go see the ENT. That's like 2 weeks later. And then the ENT is like, well, let's do some scans. So we do that. That's a few weeks to get in for scans. I actually was still pregnant when he found it and talked to the dentist, but I had had my son by the time this all unfolds, because it takes numerous weeks for all these little steps. So they did scans. There was definitely something there. So then next was an FNA, fine needle aspiration. And then, of course, with that, it comes back that, yep, this is cancer. So
What
our
kind of cancer was it?
super rare, it's called adenoid cystic carcinoma. It's a
Okay.
rare one.
Never heard of that one.
Right. So one of our doctors explained it to a med student who was shadowing him that day when he was in seeing us. He turned to the med student. He said, "This one's rare." He said, "In fact, if we were in an NFL stadium right now and I said, 'Raise your hand if you've had skin cancer,' everybody would raise their hand, a huge portion, right? A huge portion. If I said, 'Raise your hand if you've had breast cancer,' a huge portion would raise their hand." He said, "If I said, 'Raise your hand if you've had adenoid cystic carcinoma,' he said, Matt would literally be the only one in an entire NFL stadium who'd raise their hand." He's like, "It's very, very rare."
How old was he when he discovered this?
Ooh, you're making me math.
You can just give me a guess. Like
What year was it?
Hold on.
the wheels are turning.
The wheels are turning. Hold on. When he was diagnosed, he would have been 47.
Okay.
So super rare and super aggressive. It's known for making a comeback and then being really aggressive, but usually it's a long stretch. So they said, maybe 10 years, 15 years. So I'm like panicking. We had literally just had a baby. He had that year. So we had our son. My son was like 14 weeks. We ended up having surgery. I ended up switching doctors because I wanted a second opinion. I found like the best of the best. Of course, he's full because he's the best of the best. So I called every single day, multiple times a day, to see if there was any cancellations. Finally, there was a cancellation. The lady said, "I can do this day at this time." And I called my husband and I was like, "Okay, they can get you in on Wednesday at 4:30." And he was like, "No, I have football practice," because he coaches football. And
For the
I'm like,
love.
Oh my
I said,
gosh.
are you kidding me right now? And he's like, no, I have football practice. I'm not missing practice. And I was like, we are literally talking about cancer. What is wrong with you? And he's like, I think maybe, I don't know if he was in denial or just he's that serious about football. I don't know. But so I called the lady back because she wasn't even supposed to hold the appointment. She said, I will hold this for 5 minutes. You need to
Oh
call
my
me back. So
gosh.
I call her back and I was like, yep, that'll work. We'll take the
I would have
appointment.
done the same thing. I would have
Good.
picked him up by the scruff of his neck
Oh, no,
and
no. I mean,
carried
he's
him.
like twice as big as me, but it's okay. I was going to drag him in if I had to. So we went, and this guy was amazing. And I'm so glad we went to him. And so we scheduled surgery. He had to have a parotidectomy. So they took out his parotid glands. That's where
Which
it was
is
at.
what?
A
Nerve.
salivary gland. So it's like on the side of your face, jaw area. The nerves in your face are right in that area. So there's like a big like stem nerve, and then it kind of branches off in your face, so it controls the different facial movements in your face, so like your eyelid and your nose and your mouth and all the things. So this was kind of a risky surgery because if they have to cut a nerve, then it could have caused paralysis in that side of his face. And he's in sales, and so he's like, you can't do this to, like, I have to have my face. I'm in sales. I have to be able to talk. So they did the parotidectomy. And our surgeon was amazing, and he did not want to cut Matt's facial nerve. And he spent 16 hours
Whoa.
teasing nerves to try to get it out without cutting his nerve. And he did,
Wow.
because he's amazing.
See, that's
So
more important than football practice, Matt.
I know, right? So he had surgery. Our baby was 14 weeks old during this time. He was in the ICU for a day, hospital a couple of days. He's done great, lots of recovery. And then once he finally was recovered after a couple of months from that massive surgery, then it was time for radiation. And then we did radiation for every day for probably like 3 months. And then he wrapped up right before Christmas. And so it was a rough year, but it was also, I think it was good timing. Like, I think I always wondered, like, why could we not have our child for years and years and years? And then I feel like maybe our baby was sent at the right time because it was such a healthy distraction during all this like crappiness. Because, babies, it's like the first step, the first laugh, the first word, the first everything. So we had lots of, fun things to celebrate that year as well, even though it was a really crappy year at the same time. He got past that, got, clean scans, everything was great. And so he was in remission, and he was in remission for 5 years.
Oh,
And
wow.
then, yeah, 20, well, and all my research had said if it comes back, it's usually like 10 years, 15 years. And I'm like, okay, please be 15. Please be 15. Our son will almost be driving. Our other kids will be older by then. So we skipped over all this. We have 4 kids in total. So I'm like, okay, everybody else will be older. This one will be able to drive. Please hold off until everybody's older. Well, we did not get that lucky. The year of 2020, which was a bad enough year on its own, we went to our annual appointment. He gets scans every year in December. And so they said, hey, you've made it 5 years. So at this point, we can start doing scans every other year. And I said, let's just do it this year because it's been COVID, so certain appointments and things got bumped. So let's just do it to be safe, and then we'll go to every other year. Well, I'm glad I said that because it was back. And this time it was back at his brain base. He had to have a craniotomy. So he had to have brain surgery. And that one was a pretty massive surgery. I thought that first 16-hour surgery was massive. I kind of laugh at myself when I look back at like 2015 and when I thought, oh, that was a tough year. Like that was kind of nothing. Spring of 2021, he has a brain surgery, massive, 6 different surgeons in there, significant recovery, all sorts of stuff. And then a few months to recover from that, and then radiation for a few months every day. So it was a nice long year. We get done with that. Scans are clean. We take the kids, well, the boys who are still at home, the older 2 are out of the house now. They're older and they're out of the house now. So the youngest 2 who were in elementary school and high school at the time, we take them to Disney, and then we get back. We took them to Disney for Christmas. And then when we got back, we did our annual December scans and found out it's back.
Mm.
This time it brain again, but up a little bit higher in his brain. So same song and dance. We weren't even quite done with radiation when we found out it was back again. And this time it was in the original site, so near his parotid gland, kind of jaw cheek area. And so you can't do surgery there again. You can't do radiation there again because you can only do radiation one time in a spot. So that wasn't an option. He wasn't a candidate for surgery. He wasn't a candidate for radiation. We tried a clinical trial. We did that summer and fall of 2022, and that worked really, really well until it didn't work. He was starting to have tingling on the side of his face, so we knew that meant his nerve was going to go. And so they were trying so hard to get us started in the trial as fast as they could. And about a week before we started the trial, his nerve went in his face. So he did end up having paralysis on one side of his face. So he looked kind of like somebody who had had a stroke. It was just a little bit of a droop. And then, his speech was slightly off. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't normal either. So we did that. And then eventually, then you get scans throughout the whole thing pretty regularly throughout the whole thing. And then, like late fall of 2022, scans had shown that there was disease progression. So instead of tumors shrinking, tumors were growing. And once you have disease progression, then you're no longer a candidate for the trial because clearly it's not working. If things are getting worse, not better. So we got kicked off the trial at that point. So then it was trying to figure out, okay, what's next? What are we going to do now?
So I'm curious, like you've been through all of this stuff. Did you ever have an inkling like this is actually going to kill him? Or were you always just like, we're doing the thing and we're gonna succeed?
Well, I mean, of course, any like mom and wife would worry, oh my gosh, is he going to die? Like it's cancer. I think when anybody hears a cancer diagnosis, that's probably the first thing their mind goes to is, oh my gosh, am I going to die? Every time we had gotten past it, yes, it kept coming back like on the heels of each time, but we had been successful eradicating it each time. It just kept coming back. So we kept thinking like, okay, this time, that was his very last diagnosis was when it came back in his original site. So we thought, well, surely something's going to work, right? We've been able to each time. So no, it was more of a, we'll fight this. Okay, what are we going to try next? Okay, that trial didn't work. It worked really great in the beginning and then it stopped working. So, okay, what are we going to try next that maybe will work? And so no, it was never like, oh my gosh, there's nothing's going to work. It was always, okay, well, we've beaten it before, we'll beat it again. And what's going to work this time? We just have to try different things, I guess. So when the trial stopped working, they were trying to figure out what they were going to do next. And again, everything takes weeks to unfold. You have to have a washout period before you can try anything new. And you have to have scans. And then he was too sick to go to scans. So then it's another 2 weeks before you can get those rescheduled. And in all this time, time is going by and disease progresses over time. So now it's like weeks later, and then things just kind of blew up in March of 2023. I mean, just so bad. The whole side of his face, it was just like overnight massive disease progression. We ended up going to the hospital. His face swelled up. It was really bad. We were in the hospital for 3 weeks. So that was really hard too, because I don't like to leave him by himself. I want to be with him the whole time. So I stayed in the hospital, which meant I couldn't see the kids. And my big kids were amazing and took turns with our youngest. And they started him on chemo while we were in the hospital. And that worked really, really well. Within maybe like a month and a half, it had reduced everything by 50%. So it was awesome. And then, so a few months, it's reducing things. Things keep getting less and less, tumors keep getting smaller and smaller. And then it just plateaus. And so then it was like another 6 months of like plateaued. But we're like, okay, well, things aren't getting worse. So that's fine. We'll just hang out right here at this spot. It's not getting worse. So in total, he was on chemo for 14 months, which is a really long time to be on chemo
All
because
of this is terrible.
it's terrible. It's just terrible. And then chemo stopped working, just like the clinical trial did. And then it was just like trying to figure out just trying new things, what could work. But no, at no point did we think, oh, there's no more options. And at no point did our doctors tell us that either, which I'm learning is kind of a common theme.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's it's such a hard like line to walk because you want to give people hope, but you also want to be honest with them, and their job is just to fix the person. And so sometimes I don't think they see the global picture. It's just like fix this problem, instead of
okay,
saying,
that didn't work. Let's try this next. Let's try this. But,
yeah,
but how about maybe, hey, we'll try some different things. But FYI, if these things don't work, then we're probably looking at this kind of a timeline. That
yeah,
would be helpful. But we never had that. But I've thought about that. I can't tell you how many times. I don't know if that would have been healthy for Matt. Maybe it would have been easier for me and the kids because we would have been better prepared that way. But I feel like that really would have done a number on Matt's mental health. So, like, what are you going to do?
Mel,
Yeah,
we have a major announcement to make.
go for it.
Did you know that right now all plans on Mint Mobile are what?
$15 a month.
Okay, that's truly ridiculous. Do you know how much regular cell phones are?
Yep.
$1 bazillion a month. 15 is less than that.
New customers get 3 months of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month if you sign up right now. And guess what? I use it. I love it. I've used it all over the country, all over the world, and it's great. And if you're wondering about phones, they have those available as well, or you can just port your own number and your current phone over to Mint Mobile. They make it so easy.
So if people are interested in trying out Mint Mobile, how can they go about doing that?
Go to trymintmobile.com/WWDN. And it's interesting, when my dad died, we actually put his phone on a Mint Mobile plan because it kept his number going, but it was $15 a month. So there you go. And there's different storage plans, but you might as well just get the unlimited because it's $15 a month.
Absolutely. All right, go try it today.
That's trymintmobile.com/WWDN.
So I have a question about how you talked to your son about it. You said that you had one kind of elementary school age, one high school age. So what did you tell them about it? Just like dad's really sick, but he's going to get better. Like I find it so hard because you don't want to lie, quote unquote, to them, but you also
Yes.
don't know what's going to happen. So how do you like calm them down when they're freaking out about it?
It's hard. So the first time he was diagnosed, we had one in high school, one in middle school, a baby, and then one who was college age. Um, that was hard. Matt talked to the oldest two on their own. We talked to our son who was in middle school together, and he was just like deadpanned, didn't say a word, and then was like, we're like, we need to turn the TV off and talk. And so we talk, and then he's like, okay, can we turn the TV back on? And I'm like, why? We just told you this huge thing, but
It's like such a kid's reaction.
Yeah.
It's like,
we
okay,
needed to process. Yeah. Yeah. So then, fast forward a few years later, when it comes back, they're a little bit older. No, we didn't want to. And I mean, the first time it came back, it was just like, yes, it's back, but here's what we're doing. And like, we're going to put our head down and we're going to get through it and it's going to be great. And it was a rough year, but he beat it. And then the next time he beat it. And so we all just thought, okay, he's going to beat it again. He has every time. But I think our two youngest who were at home the most really saw the day in and day out. So May of 2024, we kept trying things and nothing was working, and it got really, really bad. In May of 2024 is kind of when, shit hit the fan. September of 2024, I had to call an ambulance because he couldn't even walk at this point. He couldn't hear. It it got really bad. And then that was it. He didn't come home from that hospitalization. Um, and again, at no point did doctors ever say, hey, I think we need to start hospice, or we're looking at this much time left. There was never that conversation with doctors. I mean, myself in the ER, knowing a little bit about healthcare, when they're telling me, like, okay, we've scanned his tumor in his brain is so big now it's caused a brain bleed. And I'm already thinking in my head, okay, well, I know he's not a candidate for a craniotomy, which is what you would normally do for a brain bleed, because he's already had two, and you can't do more than that. I know
You
he's
can't
not.
split the egg open too many times or it
Yeah.
just stays leaky.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm already, the wheels are turning in my mind, and I'm like, okay, I know we've pretty much exhausted all of our resources as far as oncology goes. I know there's really no options as far as neuro goes because we've already explored those options, over the course of this summer.
You've done like everything. It's been years of all of the things. So, ugh.
And then hospice came to meet with me, and I feel like I had myself mentally prepared for what that was going to look like. And I just sat down and I was like, I know I probably have to make a tough decision. And she said, oh, honey, you have no decision to make. I've
Oh,
assessed him and he's already actively passing. And I
Oh
was like,
man.
okay.
oh. Did that almost feel like a relief to you?
Um, Gosh, I'm trying not to cry.
Sorry.
And you guys, I have made it all day through Veterans Day. Oh, we didn't even talk about
I
that.
know. I was
Yeah.
gonna ask, we'll
No.
get to it.
Without like full on crying. So I mean, yes and no, right? I mean, he was miserable. He was miserable. There was no quality of life at this point. And this is a man who is so active, rides his bike 20 miles on the weekend. I mean, lifts weights every single day, has monstrous pecs and biceps, and is just like Mr. Fit, Mr. Active, Captain America, Sergeant Slaughter. He was
Like
like,
for reals,
but
that's
for
his.
real.
Oh no. It's like a G.I. Joe name. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
But, at this point, he was a tiny little rail. He was like maybe 155 pounds. He couldn't hear. He couldn't walk. He couldn't eat. He couldn't drink. It was miserable. So, yes, it was in that I just wanted him to be out of that misery. Um, and it was no walk in the park for me. Not that I'll ever complain about my role, but for 4 months, once we got home from the hospital in May, for 4 months, I mean, I was doing skilled level care on him all day, every day. His medications, I think he was on 14 different prescriptions, and they're all at different times. So I was giving medications through his feeding tube Q2, which meant all through the night I was waking up every 2 hours. And if I accidentally woke him up while I was doing them, then it was probably a pretty bad night. We were going to be up for a little while, which meant probably didn't get my 2 hour window to grab a nap before my next set around or meds. And so, I was going on no sleep. I was going on a lot of stress for 4 months. And I'm, also a mom, and I own a company and all the things of the world. And so it was a rough few months. So I don't I, I don't want to say I was relieved. No, I wasn't, which is weird. You would think I would be, but I wasn't. The only part was maybe for him to see him know that he will be out of his misery. But it sucked. And so your mind, like when you get this news, your mind just stops working. And I am in healthcare. I know what this means. She said, well, oh, so, we'll start hospice. And I was like, okay, so what? We can get a hospital bed to the house by like tomorrow, which I, if I was thinking with my clinical mind, I would have known that's nope. But I wasn't, because my brain was broken in the moment. And she was like, no, he needs to be here. He needs to be on medication constantly. He needs, she's like, at this point, he has like hours to a few days. And I'm like, oh my God, like it just hits you. I'm like, I need to go. I need to go. I need to go get to my children right now. And she's like, well, there's some things we have to talk about and some paperwork we have to do. And I was like, what does it matter? Yes, yes. Where do I sign? Obviously, I need your services. I need to go to my children now. And that sucked, as you know, Anita, going home and telling them. So I came home, told the big kids first. That was horrible. And then I had to go over to the school and tell my little one. And it was
That
awful.
that gives me a physical reaction.
Doesn't
Just
it? I
like,
know my
yeah,
stomach is
like it
hurting
makes
right
me
now.
feel
Like,
like
because you know that feeling. And it's
yucky is the word for it. Awful.
awful. Then I had to bring him back to the house where the big kids were still at, and then just watching like them, like all like four-way hug together and sobbing, and then oh, that kills you. And then I took them to the hospital so they could go see their dad. And then yeah, we had a few days with dad at the hospital. And then so that was Wednesday. And then on Saturday, the 28th, he passed away.
What month was it?
September. So I'm at
Okay.
13 months right now.
Okay. So you just passed your year mark.
You're a baby.
I know.
No offense. Not I'm not
No,
in a bad
I
way.
am. I
Yeah.
am. But I also feel
Hey guys, just checking in and want to say if you are enjoying this podcast,
And you want to see it keep going, maybe it's helped you through your widowhood journey and you think that it might help others on their widowhood journey, you can support that cause by joining our Patreon.
some of the things that you get as a Patreon beneficiary are ad-free episodes, so you don't have to hear ads like this.
You also get exclusive content, and at a certain level, you might also get an exclusive t-shirt you can only get that place.
That is true. It's pretty cool. There are 4 different tiers available, so check it out. It's patreon.com/WWDN.
And as an extra bonus, very often you get your names read by one of my kids, and they will do a terrible job with the pronunciation. And that's like a bonus, I think.
I think it's kind of the best. I would much rather hear somebody butcher my name than say it correctly.
A child butcher it than an adult do it correctly. Yep. So go to patreon.com/WWDN to keep our podcast going and support the widowed cause.
Yes! Thanks, guys! Back to our regularly scheduled program.
You're like an experienced baby though too, because you went through so much before. It's like, I don't know. It's like a weird position to be in because it's not like you weren't this years long struggle beforehand too.
But I didn't know either. Like, I know you guys used to always ask, like, what do you think is worse? And I know, I think we've all learned, like, there's no, it all sucks. But I feel like it's the worst of both worlds because we had this years long struggle, but we were never told it was the end. So we didn't get like that beautiful hospice time to like say goodbye and do all the things as a family we wanted to do. So it sucks.
You did go to Disneyland, so,
We
or
did.
Disney World.
We actually went twice. So our very last family
Well,
trip,
then it's all worth it.
it's all worth it. And man, did that guy rally to make that happen. We almost had to cancel it. And he's like, no, I'm gonna make it happen. So March of 2023, we were gonna go in the summer because the kids have different spring breaks with elementary school and college. And then I just knew, I was like, you know what?
Screw it.
I
School
think we
doesn't
need
matter.
to. It was 24, yeah, March of 24. I was like,
Oh.
no, we need to go. We need to go now. If we're going, we need to go now because I'm starting to get a little nervous about what summer will look like. And I'm glad because summer ended up being feeding tube and everything going downhill. So I'm glad we did. I'm glad he rallied and he made it happen. It was rough for him, but he enjoyed it and the kids enjoyed it. So yeah.
Are you caught up on all the episodes that we've put out so far?
Yeah, you guys, listen, I don't even know how I would have survived the very first year without you. I listened to you guys every single day. I listened to an episode, and when I found you at like about maybe 1 month in is when I found you guys, and I was like, okay, well, if I listen to one episode every day, that will carry me through this crappy first year. And it did just about, like, it was almost right about to the 1 year
We need
mark.
365, Mel.
We're getting there.
started having like anticipatory grief. I'm like, oh no, I'm almost caught up. Like, this is my
Oh,
everyday. What am I gonna do?
I wanted to ask you. So if you listen to Scott from Hawaii, his episode, you
Yes.
know how he talked about the roller coaster, and like Anita said in that episode, even when you start, descending, you start from the highest point, you still never get back up to where you were. Were you kind of on that roller coaster of maybe some hope, maybe not? Like, did Scott's
Yeah.
story resonate with you?
Oh, absolutely. And so did Triggins. And yeah,
All
yeah,
of those.
Yeah, a
yeah.
lot of those.
So crappy. One
It's so
one of
crazy.
my friends she lost her dad, she listened to that too, and she says the same thing. And I remember just hearing about how horrible that stuff is. Because also not everything is like peaceful, it's like this is pain. Just because somebody is like dying, that's a ugly process. They're not always just like, oh, here, I'm just fading away.
It's not as beautiful as it is in the movies, you
Yeah.
know. You don't like lay in your bed and close your eyes and peacefully, fade away into the sunset.
Some people do. I want that. I want to
Yeah,
sign up for
yeah,
that.
yeah, me too.
From time to time, we'll ask people in the Widow Wives Club to tell us what kinds of episodes help them or who they want to hear from more. And we've gotten a lot that say that they want more stories from people who are closer to the death, than maybe like 20 years out or 10 or something.
Right.
Oftentimes, that's like the part of grief where people aren't really wanting to talk. So first of all, thank you for being here. And I think
Yeah.
you just being here is going to help a lot of people who need to feel some connection with that.
Oh, I hope so. Because that's what I needed. I was so glad to find you guys because I know nobody who's I'm in my mid 40s. Like I know nobody who is a widow at this age. I mean, in my industry I work and I know all the 80 and 90-year-old widows,
Yeah.
all of
They're
them.
all widows.
Yes, but that doesn't really help me.
Yeah.
I need people who are kind of in the same zone as I am. So I was really happy to find you
Yeah.
guys.
You need somebody in the my kid just hit his head and split it open. And what am I going to do about that
I need
zone?
somebody who
Yeah.
knows something about we might have to pause the podcast to potentially go get stitches.
Also,
So
you
here we
guys,
go.
after we started
Did
recording,
you say recording?
my 15-year-old walked into the room. He had zip tied his wrists together and was
That's what
like,
that was?
yes, he's like, Mom, I need help. I can't get out of these. So I had to cut his zip ties that he had done. So that's what we're doing here.
That's normal around here.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm in the same boat. Nice to find others who are too.
Have you met some yet, though, in real life? That's
So-
the hard part because we're all over the place.
I know.
Yeah. That's why we need the commune.
There's not a rest home for us
I
40-year-olds. Amber, you could start one.
Like a young widow rest home.
Whatever. Yeah.
Bring your crazy kids and come on in.
Mhm.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
There you go.
Can we have pudding, please?
In Jell-O cups. Yes.
And Band-Aids. And Anita will show up and provide stitches.
Yeah. Amber, will you tell us a little bit about his service?
Yeah. So Matt's cancer is service connected. So he was in the military. He was in the army. He served in the Persian Gulf War. And it was determined that his cancer was due to toxic exposure during the Gulf War while he was in Saudi Arabia.
Oh,
Mm.
man.
And it's pretty prevalent. I guess head and neck cancer is pretty prevalent amongst folks who were in the Gulf War.
So everything I've heard about this is that it was such a battle to prove that it was connected. Did you have that experience where you had to like fight, or were they just like, yep, no?
No, not. I think it used to be, and I think
Okay.
now because it is so prevalent at this point, they have recognized that.
That's good.
Yeah, so that's good that they recognize that.
Was that before you met him that he was deployed?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I was like thinking you also had to deal with him being gone sometimes
No.
too, but that was before you guys met. Okay.
That was before me. Yeah, but he is always so proud of his service. And it's a big part of him. So I let the kids decide when we were in the hospital and he was on comfort measures for those couple of days. I didn't really want to do much on the whole like thinking about funeral planning. I just wanted to be present in that moment with him. But there was a few things, I had to kind of at least start thinking about. And so I asked the kids, what do you think about a military cemetery? So there's two in Indiana. One is good ways north of Indianapolis, and one is a good ways south of Indianapolis. It's about 2 hours in either direction, either one. I know. And so I just knew Matt was so proud of his service, and I thought that's probably what he would want. But I wanted to make sure the kids were okay with that because of the distance, and they all agreed, most definitely, like that's what he would want. And it was really beautiful. We had a military service, and because he, died for his country, I mean, it was service connected. He had, a full 21 gun salute, all of that. So it was nice. And you can see my folded flag on my shirt here today because it was Veterans Day. So we had the Veterans Day program at school. It's funny, I know you say I'm a widow baby, and I totally am. I mean, I'm still having a lot of the firsts. At least I've got through the 12 months. So most of the firsts are out of the way, but there's still things. But I think back to Veterans Day last year, and I mean, I was brand new widowed, brand new.
Gosh.
And I went to my son's program, they invited me to go in that spot. And oh my gosh, at the program, they played taps on the bugle, which they had just done that at the funeral. And it was so, I know you don't like this word, but triggering. And
I like that word because I think it's true.
It's okay. I am not triggered by the word triggered anymore. It's fine.
Okay. We've all grown.
We've all grown. We've
all
matured.
grown. Yeah. And then they folded the flag. And when they folded the flag, they did this they, explained to the kids what each fold means and read this whole thing. And I'm like, just make it stop. Like literally 1 month ago, I was at my husband's funeral, and they were playing taps and they were folding the flag and then handing me the flag. And it was painful.
I know this was painful, and you just said you wanted it to be over, but what are the folds of the flag for?
Well, if I didn't have widow brain and I wasn't so traumatized in the moment, I probably would have heard what they said, but I was just trying to
be okay.
I mean, I was already
I can Google it.
Bobbing. Yeah, no, that'll be homework. We're all Googling it.
Maybe I should look it up right now, and we'll tell everyone, what do the folds of the American flag mean?
A whole story for what each fold means, and I don't know.
My gosh, there are 13 folds, you guys.
Yeah.
And I had to sit through that entire thing of them, and
that's long. I thought there were 3 folds.
No.
It's also really interesting that it was like an elementary school too, because it's like kind of incongruent too, like they're probably all just like, what are we doing? And you're probably like almost a puddle on the ground, and every kid is like, what are we doing here?
Like people are staring at me like, what is wrong with this woman? Nobody knew what was wrong.
Can we just go back and watch TV? That's what they're thinking.
Right, exactly.
Well, I kind of wonder if they did it so big because they were trying to honor you. And what's funny about that is that it's like it kind of had the opposite effect of making you just feel uncomfortable.
So my son is the only Gold Star kid at the school. So Gold Star is families who have had an immediate, which from your podcast, family member died from service connection. I don't know, but it was too much for me to handle last year. I did a pretty good job this year. I did a pretty good job today. I was pretty proud of myself.
Good job. We're glad that we're talking to you on this day too. That's just so wild. Yeah. So Anita and I can remember from the days of yore when it was like the first year. It's just like 24/7 you're aware of all the pain. There's like no letting up. Is it like that for you still? Or are you having maybe some minutes of peace here and there or distraction?
Yeah, I feel like the first 6 months were absolutely unbearable. I mean, the last 6 months have been really hard too. It's not like everything's better by any means, but I feel like I can somewhat function as a person. My brain is somewhat working. I mean, my brain didn't work at all, as you know. You guys, do you want to hear an embarrassing story?
Of course we do.
That's all we want.
This is so embarrassing. I mean, my brain was so broken. This is like the first week. Like, I don't even think we had the funeral yet. So I'm talking like the first week. And my mom came to stay. My family lives in Florida. My mom came to stay with me, and she was making dinner. And I think she was like, well, Caesar salad would go great. And I was like, I'll just go get it. And she's like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'll go get it. So I took my youngest son and we went to the grocery store to just get a bag of Caesar salad. I don't know what I put in the cart, and probably anything my son asked for. I was probably like, fine. So I probably had a cart full of like Oreos and random stuff and a bag of Caesar salad. And there might have been a couple bottles of wine in there. And I check out and I'm like a zombie. I can't function. There was wine, so I had to get my ID out and show my ID. And then I put my ID back in my wallet, and then I put the bags in my cart, and then I left. And this lady comes running out screaming, ma'am, ma'am, through the parking lot. And I turn around and she's like, come here. And like I came back, it was an employee, and she's like, it didn't close out. And I was like, I don't know what you mean it didn't close out. She's like, you didn't close out. And I was like, I don't know what you mean I didn't close out. Like I can't even think.
The words you're saying don't make any sense to me.
She's like, you didn't pay. And it was like,
she should have started with that.
oh my God, are you serious? And my son looked at me and goes, Mom. And I was like, I'm on autopilot. And I took like the motion of taking my ID out and showing it and then putting it back in my wallet. I think my broken brain was like, oh, you paid, wallet, back to wallet, leave. Like I literally stole groceries because my was broken.
Did they call the police?
They didn't. I went back in and it was so embarrassing to walk back in and have to pay for my groceries. And
did you say, I'm sorry, my husband has just died?
I don't know.
Because that's when you need to use that because it's accurate.
My husband died.
And I'm a gold star widow. And do you know what that means? I'm a gold star
widow, and I can't think right.
All the wine for free. That's what it means.
Right. I don't even know. How did I drive there? How did I drive home? I don't know. How did I get anywhere those first few weeks? I don't know.
Oh my
but
goodness.
Yeah, I feel like my brain is it's coming back around. I'm very glad that we just hit a year. So now I know it feels better to know, okay, I've had all of the first birthdays. Now I've had all the first, Father's Day, the first day of school, all of those things are now done. So hopefully it gets easier from here.
And the holidays are coming up though, like in 2 weeks. So how are you doing that thought?
I don't know, because last year in the holidays, they were really hard, but I think I was still like in adrenaline mode, so yeah. I think it's going to be rough this year.
That was me in the first, because mine was November.
Yeah, it was September 28th. So,
yeah.
It was right before the holidays. I really think it was adrenaline mode. And I wasn't really working. I took 1 month of bereavement, but I own my own company. So I couldn't ask somebody else to run my company forever. So I had to, go back to work kind of, but certainly not full time. And so now I'm working full time and the adrenaline has worn off. And so I'm a little worried about, oh my gosh, they're going to be hard. And how am I going to do all this? I don't know. So we'll see how it goes. He did haunt me once.
Tell us.
I was really upset about something. I had made arrangements well in advance for my child, our daughter's wedding, bridal shower. And so I had made arrangements with somebody to keep my son so I could go to this, because obviously it's a very important event. And I made those arrangements well in advance. And then at the last minute, those arrangements fell through. And when I say last minute, I mean like an hour and a half before I was supposed to leave. And I was so upset, just not even at that person at all, just so upset with my situation. And like, I had just gotten out of the shower. I was trying to get ready for this. And I just come in my closet and I'm like crying, and I have my phone in my hand because I'm trying to text and call anybody who could possibly keep my child last minute. And I'm just so mad. Like, why are we in this situation that I have no one now to keep him? And I'm sitting on the floor of my closet crying, and I look over at Matt's clothes, his side of the closet, and I take my phone and I just throw it at his clothes. Not that it's his fault. He died. I think he would probably rather be here, but still, I was just kind of mad at him and about the situation. And it falls on the phone, and I'm just sitting there crying, and all of a sudden I hear Matt's voice, and it says, "You've reached Matt Slaughter. I'm not available. Please leave a message." And I look at my phone, and when I threw it, it dialed his cell phone. And I hear his voicemail, and I was like, Oh my God, I feel like that's you talking to me. Like just saying, I'm here. Like I know I'm not
I'm
here.
not
I
available,
can't help,
but
but I'm
I'm
here.
here.
But I'm
Yeah.
here and I'm talking.
I love that story. Amber, we have to ask you a very important question.
You know this question.
Yes.
Do you want to ask it to yourself or do you want us to ask it to you?
I got it. I got this.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm a professional. I've listened to every episode.
Yeah, you know
Okay,
it.
go.
Amber, what is your favorite cheese? Well, Anita and Mel, my favorite cheese, first of all of them, but I have some tops. I can't narrow it down to one. I can't do
That's fair.
that.
That's
That's
fair.
Great.
too hard. So I have two that are tied for first place, and I have two that are tied for second place. So in first place, which only one other person on this podcast has ever said it.
Velveeta.
Can't wait.
Melanie.
Port Salud.
First place is Drunken Goat.
Okay.
Was that Ivan?
Ivan the Meisner.
Yes.
Wow, you have an
Good
amazing
math.
memory.
It's because
for
I
a
had
broken
it at his
brain.
house because I visited one time.
Okay, it's the best at room temperature.
It's good.
Yeah, and then tied for second place, or I'm sorry, tied for first place alongside of that one is Pecorino Romano.
Nice.
Super good, dry, a little salty, even
Salty.
drier and saltier than Parmesan. It's
Yeah.
good stuff. And then second place is going to be Gorgonzola, and that is tied with Saganaki, which is Greek. It is feta cheese, but it's like on fire, like fried on fire. So they like squeeze the lemon on it. They pour the orzo, which is like a Greek liquor, on it, and then they light it on fire.
Wow.
And it is so good.
I think you covered all the cheese bases you like.
I did.
Yeah, that's
all the different
fantastic.
types are in there.
All right, Amber, you did so good interviewing yourself for the cheese question. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you in these little bit of crazy situation today for sticking with us. And we'll let you go take care of your son's
Thank you.
head as you
I can
need
go
to.
get some stitches now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you would like to keep the podcast going, will you consider joining our Patreon? It's patreon.com/WWDN.
If you'd like to buy us tacos, go to buymeacoffee.com/widowwedonoww.
And we always appreciate a nice rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Until we get to talk to you again, I'm Anita.
I'm Mel.
I'm Amber.
And we are just two young widows and one slaughter widow. And we're all just trying to figure out widow.
We
Do
now.
Mel, can you please tell me how you feel about therapy?
I am so grateful for therapy. I do therapy every single week.
Do you think it's a great tool in the widow's toolbox?
I sure do. I think it's a great tool in anybody's toolbox. And I am so glad that I have stuck with it because as time goes on, there are more things that I am able to learn about myself. That goes for anything from healing from the death of my husband to childhood things to trying to get outside and be social or trying to address my own certain personality. So yeah, it's really been helpful for me.
We have so many people in the Widow Wives Club who have started using BetterHelp and have amazing reviews. It takes away so many of the barriers to getting great therapy.
I know one of the things that's hard for people, and we get this question a lot, is I need a therapist that does XYZ. Who is a therapist that is going to be widow friendly? And I know that is so hard to find. When I did therapy that was not on this online platform, it was hard. And it's kind of trial and error, kind of like a new medication, honestly, like a new antidepressant. And the way that BetterHelp is set up is it's easy to find somebody that has your specific needs as part of their expertise. And you know what? If you get into a couple sessions with that person and it's not a good fit, it's so easy to change. You can ask some of our friends in the Widow Wives Club. They've changed therapists and gotten one that has been a better fit for them. Well, a lot of them are lucky with who they get first time. I am so grateful for mine. I love her so much, and it's literally changed my life for the better.
This is amazing. So if you guys are wanting to add therapy to your toolbox or need a change in who you're seeing right now, consider checking out BetterHelp. They're one of our sponsors. If you go to trybetterhelp.com/WWDN,
You get 10% off your first month of therapy if you sign up with BetterHelp. And let me tell you, the day that I was in the hospital with my dad when he was dying, I was able to instant message with my therapist, and she checked on me all throughout the week. And I was not available for video sessions for a lot of those times because there were things we were dealing with, like mortuary stuff, and I was still able to be in contact with her. So they're very, very responsive, caring. It's such a great platform, and I recommend it to anybody who is looking for therapy.
Once again, it's trybetterhelp.com/WWDN.
And that's for 10% off your first month of online therapy.
You don't even have to wear pants, Mel.
I know this.
First-hand experience.
You can even wear a onesie.
Or a twosie.
Ooh, scary. All right, bye.